Welcome back to Public Affairs on Peach, talking about gym memberships and finding the right fit for you. Personally, I like to work out in my own home, gentlemen. It saves money, no offense, but you know, get on the treadmill, you can do things at home. But I know you all have, I'm sure, personal experiences too. But before we get into that, I understand we stand corrected by Mr. John Sowers over there. He's telling us, the last segment we talked about how some gyms don't have contracts. Well, technically they do, they just may call them other things, right, John?
That's right. The law requires that you have a writing which contains about a half a dozen things. You can call it a contract, a memorandum, an agreement, or whatever. The appellation is not important. The content is what is. And what has to be in there, this is all in accordance with the Georgia statute which governs this. There are about 6 things. The length of the contract, and it can't be more than 36 months. The cost to the consumer's right to cancel, what the cancellation process consists of, and the consumer's rights and responsibilities in event of a change in services offered or the onset of a physical disability. And then there has to be a provision that says if you've had heart problems in the past, you need to consult a physician. It's just a warning, but it has to be in there. The cancellation provision has to be there on the front page of a contract if it's a multi-page document.
Okay.
And it has to state, and we've covered this before, that you have until the end of the 7th business day after execution in order to cancel that agreement. So those are the essential things that have to be in writing. And again, you can call it a contract, you can call it a memorandum, you can call it an agreement or something else, just so it provides those requirements to meet the statute that we are charged with administering.
Now, Charles, have you had any, I know you're in the business, but have you had any personal experiences with gyms that maybe didn't go as well as you had hoped?
Well, yes, and I would say this to you or any consumer. If it ever gets to the place where John is needed, I don't think I did my homework. I didn't read the fine print. I had a situation with a big box gym in Atlanta, and at the point I had a kind of a diminishing returns approach, so I just said I'm just going to finish out the contract that I signed up for and use the gym as best I can. But yeah, I think if it gets to that point where John is necessary, you probably didn't do your homework. I understand that they're necessary, but to the points that we brought up earlier, you read your contract and understand what you want. Back then, I just wanted to join a gym. You know, right. New Year's resolutions, I got to go make some changes, and didn't really have a clear picture about how I was going to do that. So signing up for a gym was the knee-jerk reaction.
And I would think and presume that most people do that. That's probably what most folks would do. They want to join a gym and get in shape, and then they're not looking at some of these particulars, which we're really talking about today, to hopefully save people money and know what they're getting into. Now, John, we know that people can complain to the Governor's Office of Consumer Protection if they have a problem about this, since your office regulates gyms. But what other advice? Is there any other information consumers can get from you guys?
Well, there is. We've written about this several times on our website. We have an investigator who spends a great deal of his time going around looking at gyms, looking at their contracts, talking to the people that run them and so forth. And he put out a series of podcasts between August and December of last year. Those are also available on our website, and we're going to add an icon to the front page of our website so that people don't have to go through as many links to get to it. And I would encourage anybody who owns a gym, anybody who manages a gym, anybody who is a current client or is considering membership to read those, because they're easy to read and they make sense. There's a few other things I'd like to go over too, though. One of the problems we see is that so many people, when they join a gym, do it, if not on impulse, they do it without a great deal of forethought and research. The most common thing they'll do is go join the gym that's closest to where they live. That may or may not be the best place for you. Good chance it's not going to be. You may be far better off driving another mile or 2 or 5 than joining the gym that's closest to you. The other variation of that is many larger office buildings have gyms in the basement or somewhere in the building, and people just join those because it's convenient. Well, again, maybe that's a good place for you, and maybe it's not. I would certainly advocate anybody before they join a gym for the first time especially, go to 2 or 3 and check them out and ask the questions that we've been talking about here to the people in charge. If they don't know, they don't want to answer, they buck you to somebody else, you know, that's kind of a red flag.
It's great information, and I want to let our viewers know that they can, of course, go to your website, which
Sure.
is, share that with us again, John. Can you
You're
recall
gonna,
this?
You're going to show it on, yes, it is www.consumer.ga.gov.
Great. And also, there it is on the screen. And another
it is.
thing to share with our viewers, you can always go to our YouTube channel, type in one word on YouTube, Public Affairs on Peach, and you can watch all of our episodes, and that information will be up on the screen. Thank you both, gentlemen. John,
you.
Charles,
Been a
we
pleasure.
appreciate you being on the program. Stay with us. We'll be back right after this to wrap up the show.